One question. Am I glowing? Welcome back, friends. Welcome back. Happy Monday. I rode here today. Glowing is just another word for hopelessly and pitifully out of shape. We've had a bit of a dreary, cold start to spring here in central Indiana, and I am, I would say, a good month behind when I normally get on the bike, so good gracious. Here's something I've been pondering recently, which is a quote from Naval Ravikant, at Naval on Twitter, and I think everywhere else. He was talking about retirement, and he said, the goal, obviously, is to get everybody to retirement. And that could mean one of two things. One, you get your burn rate, your monthly expenses down to a point, where you can live on your retirement income, or you just make a lot of money. And he had a different idea, and he said that, and I hope I get this right, retirement was when you stopped sacrificing today for some day in the distant future. It's worth pondering, I think, at least for those of us who are on the back nine. Who's your favorite writer, or who do you think is the best writer right now? Fiction or nonfiction, it doesn't really matter, although I'm going to speak primarily about nonfiction. And I think Sebastian Junger is one of our best writers. He wrote The Perfect Storm. He wrote a book called Tribe. He did a documentary film called Restrepo. And he's got a new book out called Freedom. And Sebastian has... Good Lord. I'm glowing. Sebastian has what I think is a really innate ability to pack a ton of different ideas into one sentence, one paragraph, one chapter. And the story revolves around a walk that he and a handful of other people did from Washington, D.C. to Pittsburgh that they called The Last Patrol. A couple of the guys from Restrepo joined him, and they did it in chunks. They didn't do it all at once. And, Pittsburgh to D.C. is a well-known route for people who ride bikes, because the Gap Trail, the Great Allegheny Passage, and then the C&O Canal basically links those two, that big landmass. But they did it walking rail lines. And he manages to weave in all sorts of stories about history, not only history of the area, but just human history into these experiences that they had walking these rail lines. There's an Amazon link down in the description if you'd like to check out the book. I think it's a worthwhile read. Fascinating stuff. And, the overarching thing that I get from his writing, both in Tribe and Freedom, is just how far we've moved away from the things that made and make us human. The way we interact with the people in our neighborhoods. And for those of you that are new, that are still watching, when I say we, I most oftentimes and almost always mean I or me. But the way the way we don't interact with our communities anymore, and the fact that we spend so little time moving under our own power when we spent hundreds and thousands of years doing just that because there was no other choice. That's what makes me so frustrated with cities, states, and local municipalities that make it so hard to travel by either by foot or by bicycle when you want to, much less when you have to. There's a great number of people in all of these areas, my city included, that don't have a choice. And yet we've built our cities 180 degrees out of phase from that. So, yeah, great book, very insightful. He was on the Tim Ferriss podcast. He's been all over because he's got a new book. But he was on Ferriss about a week or so ago, and he was on Rogan last week. And he obviously can explain the book in much greater detail than can I. I got a couple of questions from people wanting to know if I would make the Ask Me Anything kind of a regular thing. And of course, and I've already gotten a couple of questions. You don't have to wait for me. If a question pops up and you don't need it answered immediately, stick it down in the comments. And yeah, please like the video. I know you will. Till next time, be nice, work hard, ride bikes, play music when you can. I'll talk to you soon.